a Rev It Up show with Butch Wilson and Jay Palumbo. Jay's coming off a win yesterday at Kinross Speedway. And you have one win at Laird also this year, Jay. So is there much difference between the two tracks and the two different wins?
Yeah, they're actually, when we won at Laird, we were in a totally different car. So we were in two different cars. The tracks are definitely different. Kinross, you're able to carry quite a bit more momentum around the track. It's wider, a little bit more banking, and it's safer. It's a safer place as far as side-by-side and three-wide racing. You see a lot more of the side-by-side and three-wide kind of racing at Kinross. But Laird definitely is a driver's track, and it's tricky. It's tricky enough to get around there by yourself on the track, let alone racing. But it's fun. It's exciting. It's exciting as well.
And going from a driver's point of view, and you might upset some people, piss some people off. I was over there for the first time yesterday. 21 drivers in your category. You go to Laird, you got 8. Is it just guys like that track better, or is it just?
You know, Kinross is drawing from a little bit bigger crowd as far as racers go, just being in Michigan. So I think that it's got that going for it. I mean, the atmosphere at Laird has probably scared a few drivers away. Maybe they went over to Kinross and they choose to race there now. And then Sunday afternoons might be a little bit easier for, especially a lot of the American drivers. They're more prone to probably race over at a track like Kinross on a Sunday where they don't have to work or anything, as opposed to coming across Thursday after work and having to wait on the bridge and that sort of thing. You know, yeah, it's definitely more exciting when you have more cars to race against.
Now, let's say, Butch, you own the car that Jay drives, and we were talking off camera before about you'd rather not be, if you had a choice to be an owner of a track and all the politics. But is there a reason that, as an owner, would it benefit drivers and owners of cars if the tracks could work together and go opposite weeks maybe, so that you have racing every week and you're not going back to back?
Well, most definitely, if you want the cars, that's what you have to do. You can't turn around on Thursday night and then run a Friday. My personal if they're going to run, they'd have to run a Saturday, Sunday deal. Run here Saturday, Sunday. Every other week. Well, I don't believe in that. Some people, but, I guess because I enjoy racing, but I just rather see it run Saturday, run week by week.
Week by week?
Yeah, you'd get more cars, I do.
And like say, on both tracks, really. I think it's something, you do it if you can work together, and I always say, if it's a sandbox, play together. You're so close together, it's not like when you go into Southern Ontario, you have 20 tracks within 2 hours of each other.
Exactly.
So up here, it's really good.
That needs to happen, for sure. You know, these last 2 years have been hard on local racing, and there's tracks that are going to have to work together in order for it to continue to grow, I believe.
I agree totally. And as an owner, like I was at Laird on Thursday and at Kinross yesterday, and I'm not putting the onus on drivers or the owners or wives or boyfriends, but at this level it's different when you get higher levels because you got crew chiefs and everything else. But you have husbands or fiancés or owners and drivers running the promoters and yelling and screaming at them, at the promoters. Should a driver have, say, the owners just designated to talk to the promoter? Or if it's a crew chief, should that happen that way to stop some of the politics?
Wait 24 hours.
Referring back to hockey, 24 hours.
24 hours wait, then go talk if you want to talk to him. You know, and then he can get his two together. If you're blaming the flagman or whoever you're blaming, you're in the heat of things right there. And maybe you lost the race, maybe a second place spot. Wait 24 hours, then talk to him.
And your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely am with Butch on that one. I mean, you know, if you can't speak to somebody with respect, I mean, again, I'd never want to be a promoter and be in that position anyways. I don't know how I'd be able to handle people yelling and screaming at me, but, you know, if you can't talk to somebody with respect, then you're going to have to go home and cool off for a while before you can sort those things out. It's not something you can handle at the racetrack in the heat of the moment right after something just happens. A lot of times after people relax, the adrenaline stops flowing, they gather their thoughts a little bit better, and it allows them to express how they're feeling without sort of yelling and screaming.
Being blunt?
For lack of better words, yeah, being
like you said, being in the pits up until this year, and starting doing this, more side in the stands, you don't see it. When you're in the pits, you see it a lot more. Like you said, you'd rather not be a promoter, and that's understandable.
Exactly.
but it's the crap that's going on. And it's a question, like I'll ask Jay because he's more on the track than you are as an owner. I know kids have to start young, but where do you think, like in Michigan that's 14, at Laird it's a little bit younger. And you had, like, not picking on any drivers, but a driver getting pissed off at a young driver last week. Is there a certain age that they should learn?
Oh, that's a gray area, you know, that's a tough one. I mean, it's good to see these young kids get involved in the sport, but, you know, it is a man's sport, and they're racing, especially when they're up in the higher levels, you know, super late models and modifieds and that sort of thing. You know, you're racing against grown men, and you got to be able to handle these situations, and a lot of these kids are showing some great maturity, and I'm sure they have a very bright future. But there's going to be situations where, you know, maybe a grown man's going to be upset, and the boy's going to be more timid. So I know that's a tough one. That's a gray area. I mean, you can't show favoritism to one driver than the other. I mean, when I get in the car and my helmet's on, they're all, you know, they're all the same to me. It doesn't matter whether a 50-year-old veteran or a 15-year-old rookie. I race everybody the same. Right? Yeah, I started when I was 14. I mean, I know what it's like to be out there and just be the new kid on the block kind of thing. But you know, these men, especially getting in the bigger series and that, and there's a lot of cars, a lot of competition. I mean, they don't give you an inch. It doesn't matter who you are.
So being in Northern Ontario or like in Northern Michigan, what do you think they can do for the young up-and-comers? Do they start, I don't mean go-karts, but is there a smaller series you think they should do or could do?
I think like what Butch had going with the 4-cylinders last year and these extreme 4s and things like that, that's a great place for the young kids to cut their teeth in. Especially, you know, it's a little bit more affordable, especially with the neons and that sort of thing. You know, whether or not they have enough of the young kids to actually have a series for it, I don't know, but that's definitely a good stepping stone, you know, to get the kids into car racing.
And like we were talking like, last week off camera is about you being an owner. The biggest thing is passion, but other than that, like you say, you have to have some type of wallet, of course, to put these cars together. But why do you choose to do it?
It's expensive, you know, and the rest of the guys out there know that. If you want to compete, you got to spend money. It's simple as that. And hope you start, and then hope you finish. Go home with nothing to work on except taking bolts on.
And that's going back, watching TV on the weekend. We saw in the Infinity race, say one guy bumped another guy to win the race. But is there a lot of lost respect for people out there right now? Like guys, you're passing somebody and a guy's running you off the track where it's not a multi-million-dollar budget. So I know, like your personality, you try not to do that. You can't get hot-headed. But the thing is there a lot of respect that's being lost because guys are bumping and grinding to try to get a win?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's such an intense sport, and you know, everybody believes they can win, and everybody's going to race as hard as they can to win. But there still needs to be that respect level there between drivers, and especially, you know, like Butch says, when we're in these expensive cars, you know, there's just no reason to be wrecking each other. You know, especially when there's not the huge car count. You know, we need everybody out in the field, and we all got to have respect for each other, a little bit of give and take, and you know, we'll all get our turn out on the track to win some and lose some sort of thing. So there's no reason to be for these cars to be getting wrecked, as far as I'm concerned.
No, from an owner's point of view, I'm saying Jay gets bumped, or I'm saying Jay can get pissed off and bump somebody, but should there be consequences coming from an owner's point of view? Of a guy keeps on doing it, repeat. Other sports, you get penalized somehow. In this type of racing, is there like a suspension or points deducted, or?
I don't believe in suspension. There you go back to you don't have enough cars as it is. I believe it's fine, the guys. When it comes out of their pocket, it's going to hurt. At the end of the year, in that division, whatever division it is, that's the money that goes to the champion.
So even a couple $100 at this level, a couple $100 is huge.
I wouldn't go that high. You know, I go at $25 the first time. If you're repeated, then you want to start adding this up. 25 at a time, or 25, 50, whatever. And maybe they'll get the point. Maybe they won't.
And when they say when they're handed their check and there's $25 less,
You know you're gonna have him back next week, right? If you suspend him, you know he's not coming back. Now you're down to the car count again.
Now, being Northern Ontario, but we're so close to Michigan, like say doing the hot shoe, is it something that could be done up here? Say Kinross or Sands or Laird? Okay. I know as a driver you like it.
Having a big race.
A big race?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it needs to be promoted properly, and you need to get the word out there to the right people, and you got to pay. You know, and you'll get the cars. It just the schedules are so crazy. I mean, you'd have to pick a weekend there's no other big race going on around. Really trying to track the other cars. But I believe if the purse is there, you'll get a good group. You know, you'll be able to have a good race as long as it pays properly. You got to pay enough money to start. You know, race throughout, not just the top guys getting paid out. And invite all the cars. Have the rules kind of open so that fit cars from all different tracks. And I think it would work. I mean, I know Donnie's tried it at Laird a few times in the past, and it probably didn't work as good as it could have. But you know, I think a little bit more just getting it out there on the internet sort of thing, and getting the word of mouth at all the different tracks. It could work.
And going back, we talked before as a business owner, something also as a sponsor. The biggest thing now racing is sponsorship. So having a big race is something you have to have that type of sponsorship. Can we tap it in as a business owner and as an owner of a car, tap into more sponsorship to get a race like that?
Sure, but that's a promoter. That's not the sponsorship. As me as an owner of a car, for me to turn around and put this money out, I don't believe it's up to me. I think it's up to that promoter to get out there and get at these businesses and promote them. Whether he does flyers with your business name on it, or your building, whatever. That's the way to go. Now, I've been approached many times, but the guys,
what are you getting in return, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is, and I'm using not every track promoter or every track owner or anything, but are they more worried about their pocketbooks than they are about the fans? Like we talked about the driver and the shareholders. Is it more they're worried more about their pocketbooks and then?
Well, I mean, no track owner is going to want to be putting out money every week to hold races. I mean, but there's got to be
give and take.
There's got to be give and take there as well. I mean, you know, when you see tracks that have volunteers helping them out, you know, and they're able to thrive, and then other tracks that are paying to have you know, people work at the track, then they need to make sure that they can take enough in at the gate to pay these employees at their track, and you know, it takes a little bit more there to get it going.
And like this week coming out of there, like say Chris Jones, they're having a memorial race. He passed away last year. There's something. Are you running that? Like you say, this week coming up.
Yeah, the plan is.
The weather's good.
Yeah. If the weather holds up and we get the car back together here, I think that's our plan. Is to head down to Laird Raceway and definitely make it to the Chris Jones Memorial Race.
And we can say 2 weeks full of that is the Ted Brooks, Randy DeWitt race. You've won the 2 different divisions there. Are you going back to hopefully get some more bragging rights?
We'll see what happens there. It's still kind of up in the air. I don't think they're going to be racing the Outlaw Super Late models there this fall, so that's kind of, that has us on the fence over whether or not we're going to race there, or we might end up racing somewhere else. But we'll see what happens. We're just going one race at a time right now. We got a lot on the go with these cars, and a lot of work's happening here, as you can see. So we're just kind of going one race at a time, one lap at a time, and we'll see what happens. If the stars align and everything works out, you might see me have to do it again.
Now, again, about sponsors and everything else, who would you like to thank when it comes to, like say, put your butt in the car and you on the track every week?
Oh, well, I mean, as far as sponsorship and just as being a good coach and team owner, Butch has just been great with me in the whole, union cab and limousine team. George Parsons, Parson's Performance Parts, Brian Williams, my dad Brent Palumbo, my uncle Ron Armstrong. They've all just helped us out, helped the team out. Jim Dubois and Krista Dubois down in Michigan, they've helped me out a lot this year. And I mean, not just this year, they've helped me out for years with racing, when they could, whether it be stay at their house or, give me a car to race. So I got to thank them as well. But, just this whole team, like the whole Butch Wilson racing team has been great to me this summer. And, we really are a team. We all have each other's back. And we've had some really good races, and we've had some races that maybe weren't so great. But we're still fine-tuning everything and working on everything, and I'm just look forward to it. I'm hungry for the next race.
And again, the power of social media, seeing the comment yesterday, it was a nice comment, where you mentioned about being there, I say by yourself, Butch wasn't there this week, George wasn't there, it was just you and your family, but you mentioned about, like say, racers helping you out if you needed the help. Yeah,
and I mean, I don't blame anybody for not coming to the racetrack when it's 89 degrees out and standing out in the field to help me out. But I just, there's something to be said when you go to the racetrack and you pull in by yourself, and not just other racers, but people you're actually racing against come over and help you unload the car, and they help me set my toe and help me change tires and things like that. It just, it's part of the reason why I love the sport so much, just the camaraderie that's there, It's almost like you kind of bond with these guys, like maybe similar to like fighter pilots would have in World War II, where, it's everybody for themselves when you're out on the battlefield, but when you're down pit side, it's good to know that you have some people there to help you out.
Take the gloves and the helmets off.
Even though, you're fierce competitors and all that sort of thing, when they can come over and help you out and see that I needed help and help you out, it just means a lot,
Understandable. Well, like I say, this is the second episode of Rev It Up Racing Show. Tonight is brought to you by Parson's Performance, George Parsons, Racers Helping Racers, and I can't thank you enough, Jay, for being on the show.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Butch.
See you at the races.